So I'm 10 years classically trained as a pianist. I turned, well, first of all, I got my first band. It was called Infinity Source. Stayed with them for 3 years. I was 15 with them. We did a tour. The agent, his name was John Ellison. He wrote the song Some Kind of Wonderful. Grand Funk made it millions of dollars off of it, but he still retained the rights. So his name was John Ellison. He booked my group, Infinity Source, when I was 17. We're in Quebec, Canada, 1,000 miles north of here. That gave me the inspiration when I was making all of that blue, yellow, green Canadian money, and I learned how to speak a little French. Je vous parle moi tout for all the ladies out there. I said, I can actually do this. I can actually make money having fun.
Right.
And so I stayed with Infinity Source just a little bit, for 3 years altogether, and then I joined Chocolate City. I stayed with them for 1 year. And we were offered by my real mentors. Is Jerry Ferguson out of Lifestyle. They had an album under MCA Records. And I was 19, I was recruited to be a music director for them. So it was Jerry Ferguson, Wade Davis, Johnny Johnson, Chuck Lee, and Cedric Wooden. And they had a great record. So if anybody can ever find it, I have it at my studio. It was called Lifestyle. That was the band name. They were incredible soul R&B group. They gave me my professional start. From there, I got an agent, and I stayed with them until their dying days. Actually, I produced a few of their last unreleased songs. When Jerry Ferguson passed away, maybe about 8 years or maybe about 10 years ago. And then throughout my travels, I've always knew Pee Wee Ellis. He's another one of my mentors.
And that's
the great Pee Wee Ellis.
Right.
He's a musician's musician. He was my mentor and good friend.
Right.
He passed away 3 years ago, and they gave me the honor to be the coordinator for his homecoming. I actually played at his funeral, and I coordinated all of the music. Fred Wesley came to Rochester, and we honored Pee Wee.
I'm good friends with one of his younger cousins, Ricky Reed. I was actually at his mom's house. His mom and Ricky Reed's, I guess, grandmother or grand aunt, and we found a old horn.
Okay,
Before
right.
It was so old that it was red from rust. And
Well, Pee
it was
Wee
like, this is one
is
of Pee Wee Ellis's first horns. I was like,
Yeah.
what in the world?
Pee Wee is a legend. He produced Van Morrison. If you Google his name, it's going to be several pages of nothing about, but just all about Pee Wee.
Right.
And so Pee Wee, just for those who don't know, he actually was James Brown's music director for 10 years. He also wrote about 25 songs with James, and one including I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Mm-hmm.
So Pee Wee, I have, believe it or not, 5 songs that Pee Wee's featured on my solo project. I have a jazz solo project that I haven't released that either. But
Why are you holding on to that?
I'm holding on to it because I have good people in the industry that telling me just to time it, and they're telling me to make sure everything is right because of Pee Wee's name.
Yeah.
And so I wrote the song, so I own all of the rights. He came to my studio and just blessed me.
You have pictures of that.
I have video and pictures of Pee Wee, me and him interacting in my studio, working on my songs. So God bless him, man. I love Pee Wee. And we're talking about Sugar Hill. I want to definitely acknowledge Sylvia Robinson. She took my career to another level where I had learned the business, learned a lot more about contracts. Then I worked with several engineers that inspired me to be an engineer. So I went through my playing days as a musician, and I converted over into producing and engineering. And so some of the engineers was like Steve Rome, Maurice Starr. Maurice Starr starred at New Kids on the Block. He did that too, but he did New Edition first. And then he created New Kids on the Block. Patrick Adams, platinum. All of these guys have platinum records as engineers and producers. I work with Dr. Dre on a live tour as an assistant engineer for Dr. Dre's personal engineer. His name was Tim Carver. And so I learned a lot from him. Mike T at Sugar Hill, Tundaran Tahaka, New Kids on the Block. It's just so many engineers that's helped me be who I am as an engineer.
Right.
And so without that, I wouldn't be what I am. So for all of the young people listening, listen to your OGs, listen to people who have experience. When you tap on their experience, that's gonna make you better, and you will be a torch carrier. I love to use that because we're depending on our youth to carry the torch and stop playing with it. Forget all the presets, man. Do your history.
Yeah,
learn real music. Learn how to read if you can. Learn about analog. A shout out to Steve as well, Analog L, because the Hustle Heads, that was a group that you, Cello Brown, and Steve, you guys, you always reached back. You always look for the next thing, but you were representing real hip hop. Hip hop is made and created for you to enjoy yourself. It was a fun type of format, and then it even involved so many ways, but just to have a good time.
Yeah,
it never was used. It wasn't intended to use to be harmful.
Yeah.
So for all of you young Little Dirk wannabes, look, you only have a certain amount of time to get away with that.
Right.
So if you went to Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, any of those legends, Nas, they're gonna look at you and say, man, you gotta step your game up if that's all you know.
Right. Right.
Drill rap. That's incredible music, but it's what you do on top of that music, your lyrics, it all means something. You guys gotta do your research, man. I'm praying for you.
Say something. That's all we gotta say.
Right.
Say something. Say some ish.
And just like that last song. See, back in the day, real lyricists we were doing 4 verses in songs, but that last song, Mic Check, and You Can't Freestyle, those are 3 verses. Because these guys had so much to say, and it wasn't repetitive. Everything was the next phase. Mm-hmm. It was going to take you somewhere.
Right.
And so what I'm hearing with the young guys now, they're repeating in the verse. They're repeating too much in the verse. It's not even a hook. I'm going to run up on you, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to run up on you. Come on, man. Let's do better. Let's do better.